viewers, welcome to our show. This is Young and Smart. And as always, I'm your host, Oliver Sindabi. Today, we're privileged to have Irene Muchomba, who works for the Kenya Human Rights Commission, and she's a program associate in charge of the electoral governance program. Irene, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Yes, welcome to our show today. As we begin, maybe just tell us a little bit of your background in terms of your work. What is it that you do so that our viewers can understand you?
Okay. I am Irene Muchomba, as he has indicated, and I work as a program associate in the electoral governance program at the Kenya Human Rights Commission, which is a non-governmental human rights organization in Kenya. It is purely Kenyan-based. Many people confuse it with the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights, and maybe take this opportunity to make it clear that the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights is a national human rights institution, which is really mandatory for every country to have. So it is government-based. Ours is a non-governmental organization where people came together and during the regime of Moi and found it best to start the discussion for participation really on governance issues and human rights monitoring and providing solutions thereafter.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. That is quite rich. Okay. So it means, what is your reach nationally? You have offices in every county?
No, unfortunately not. Our office is on Valley Arcade, Gitanga Road. We work with human rights monitors in every county. We have a couple we have engaged directly, and others through the networks.
Okay.
Yeah, there's an organization called the National Human Rights Network, where if you feel like you need to engage them for any issues down to the county levels, down to the remote areas, you can get key persons who understand the areas very well, and you can solve the issues as they come.
We all know elections are around the corner. I think about how many months? About 4 months?
Yes.
About 4 months. And right now it's all about party nominations, who is going to be the flag bearer. Other parties already have their flag bearers in place and so forth. A lot of activity going on. So the question is, how do you turn the youth into full participants in this electoral process?
Firstly, I want my fellow youth, because I'm also a youth, I am under 35. Yes. I want them to understand that for anyone to be qualified as youth in Kenya, they must be under 35 years. The Constitution has provided for that. You remember there was a time where one of our old politician really was keen on saying that he's also a youth, and we know very well that they are over 55 years. Yes. That's a lie. Anyway, for youth, they have to understand that their democratic participation is embedded and protected and provided for in the Constitution of Kenya under Chapter 1, where it provides that as citizens, as the people of Kenya, we have the right to participate either directly or through our elected leaders. This means that for elected leaders, we have to go out there and vote for them. They will not vote themselves in. They will not stamp their participation in. We, as citizens, we as youth have to go out, exercise our right, secrecy of ballot, vote in whoever we feel like is capable to address our issues. Yes.
Good. And in view of that, recently we had the voter registration exercise.
Yes.
And I'm sure your organization, through your network of human rights activists all over the country, I'm sure in one way or another you had to have participated, maybe through engaging the youth, getting them to register, and also learning about their views. What would you say happened? Did the youth really turn out in large numbers to register? We also heard that the youth born during that period, the 95, 96, they also had their own views, and from what we hear, some were actually reluctant to come out and register. Yeah. I don't know what your experience was on the same.
As Kenya Human Rights Commission and other civil society organizations, we came up together, around 5 at the time. We came up together and formed a coalition dubbed Kura Yangu Sauti Yangu. This was really a campaign which identified 6 key issues that have been really the main issues for bringing most of the bad economic and bad development that we have currently. These issues were identified as leadership and governance, security, intragovernmental coordination during the electoral process, and discrimination. Discrimination is what we are keen on for youth participation, women and persons living with disabilities and any other minority groups in Kenya. With Kura Yangu Sauti Yangu, we were able to address this issue of the discrimination by really voicing out the provisions of the Constitution where every person has a right to register as a voter, participate in the electoral process either as a contestant or a registered voter. That means that they had to go out and be registered as voters. We really were key to tell them no matter the old regimes, these are the key issues and what is the way forward. Do you feel like many youth identified this, that it's only when the electioneering period comes about when women, youth, and the persons living with disabilities and other minority groups are identified. Many were saying, what about the 5 years? So we were keen on telling them that they have to come out large in numbers for their effect to be felt. We also asked them to participate, if it is possible, to come out and also participate as contestants, as aspirants, I mean. We were keen on telling them, do not be disillusioned. If you have a goal, if you feel like you are a leader, come out in your communities, tell them, go and tell your fellow youth to go out and register for their voice is their vote. Kura Yangu Sauti Yangu. Yes.
Okay. Very good. And this program, Kura Yangu Sauti Yangu, I think you ran a couple of media messages.
Yes.
TV, radio.
Yes.
I don't know. How did you do that?
We worked. We are still doing it, and we will not stop until really it's ingrained in people, especially the youth and the discriminated group of persons, which is the women, persons living with disabilities, and other Kenyan minority groups. We really want people to understand that these are the issues that are always facing Kenyans during the election time. Security. Many people say that they want a peaceful election, and in the real essence, what we want the IEBC to achieve is the free, fair, and credible election. This means that they have the capacity, they have the right people, they have the mechanisms to conduct a free, fair, and credible election. How they coordinate with the police and the security persons in Kenya, that doesn't matter really. We really want the electoral management body to ensure that they run the process smoothly, because in the long run, the outcome is free, fair, and credible election.
Okay.
Yes.
Allow me to just cut you short there, but hold on to that thought.
Okay.
We're going to take a commercial break.
Okay.
Kindly, viewers, don't touch that remote. We'll be back in a few minutes.
Only your love I appreciate, oh. If you not give me, no go take, oh. Baby girl, let's relate, oh.
Tunde kula pesa, 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 pesa. Tunde kula pesa, 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 pesa. You boy, kind of way, baby, wine for me, in the kind of way, wine for me, baby, wine for me. You got me feeling some kind of way. Tera, fan ho gaya, tera hai re jabra hoye re jabra fan ho gaya. O tujhe dekh ke hi dil mein dhakdan ho gaya. मैं तुझको चुराया है, पाया है ये जहां. तुझको चुराया है, पाया है ये जहां. तुझे इतनी भी खबर है कि तेरा हीरो इधर है, तेरा ध्यान किधर है, ये तेरा हीरो इधर है, तेरा ध्यान किधर है, ये तेरा हीरो इधर है.
This This is your show. We talk about career planning and development.
People worship entrepreneurship. You look at entrepreneurs, you see them driving good cars, but it's not as easy as that.
It's very prudent not to postpone your dreams. If you believe in something, go for it.
They say 90% of the opportunities happen because of just showing up. Just showing up, period. If it's a tender that you're looking for, just show up, yes?
There are millions of ideas out there. The ones that do and make an effort with the little resource that you have, with the empty pockets that you have. What can you do?
Welcome back to Young and Smart. Today we're privileged to have Irene Muchomba from the Kenya Human Rights Commission. As noted, she's a program associate in charge of the electoral governance program. Before we took the commercial break, we were talking about the youth and their views on elections as they come up, their participation and so forth. And maybe we could talk about some of the challenges the youth are facing, because they also have their, as you have mentioned, the key areas, leadership, discrimination and so forth. What are some of the issues the youth are faced with all over the country that would hinder their participation in the electoral process?
As I had mentioned earlier, the Kura Yangu Sauti Yangu coalition had identified issues that as a country we are facing, but key issues that directly affect the youth today, as identified by Kura Yangu Sauti Yangu, could be leadership and governance, discrimination, and intergovernmental coordination. Many youth believe that they cannot easily access government services without paying someone, without doing something, without actually going deep into their pockets. They feel that they have to bribe.
To bribe. Corruption.
Yes,
corruption
really. And they're not keen on that. Yeah. The other thing is they cannot afford corruption. Most of them felt that they're unemployed, and where will they even get money to pay these kind of bribes to access just basic government services. So we saw that there's a very weak link between intergovernmental organizations to address these issues. You can go to one office, you can be assisted very well, and you go to another and it's problematic. So it's really key for organizations, for government offices to address the issue of discrimination. Everyone is entitled to services.
Okay.
Yes.
Speaking of governance, the 2010 Constitution, it gave us devolution, which is actually one of our national values, and because of that Constitution, you have the 47 county governments. From your work, would you say that these county governments are engaging the youth? Do they have any programs for the youth?
Yes.
And so forth?
Okay. I understand that every county has a cabinet. They are organized in such a way, they have structures. So most of these counties, what they did is they brought forth ministers, cabinet secretaries in their own county governments. So actually almost all, I think, if I'm not wrong, all counties have a minister for youth, women and persons living with disabilities, yes, where you can visit the office and voice your opinion if you have any suggestions. There are also so many governmental youth organizations like the AGPO. I cannot remember the full name.
That is AGPO,
yes,
the
AGPO.
Access to Government Procurement Opportunities.
Yes, the Women Empowerment Fund, and also there's a coordination with government and non-governmental organizations for persons living with disabilities, where they can access different amenities that they require. Yeah. So if where possible, it is key for the government to really coordinate with civic-based organizations, civic education-based organizations, to tell the youth and to tell the persons out there that these services are available, please use them. The Ministry of Youth at your county levels, the Ministry of Youth, Women and Persons with Disabilities, the offices are open for them.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what I get you saying is that the coordination between the national government, the county governments, and the civic-based organizations, your organization in particular, Kenya Human Rights Commission, there needs to be enhancement in the
Yes.
in the way this message gets out there to the youth.
Yes,
Okay.
that's basically what I'm saying. There are so many amenities available, only that people are not aware. It's very key for government to ensure that people are aware that they offer these services so that people can actually enjoy as is protected in the Constitution.
Okay.
Yes.
Good, good. As we move on, I want us to talk a little bit about youth and leadership. You realize in 2013 during the campaigns, the talk was that it's time for the youth. The youth are leaders of today and not tomorrow. Would you say the political parties, the government, the county governments and so forth have provided opportunities for youth in leadership, and not just in political leadership, but also in, the tendency for the youth today is to say that I'm only a leader when I'm an elected MP, MCA. We are hearing that in certain wards you have over 50 candidates running for the position of MCA. But would you say the space for the youth has been expanded in leadership?
Definitely yes, and at the same time, because of the old guard, definitely no, because as is, they still feel that the youth are immature, the youth are not capable to motivate the electorate, the youth are not capable to motivate and drive the economy as they do. They feel that they've reached this nation where it is so far, so they feel that they should continue driving it. So what I would say is really youth should be firm. Youth should identify themselves as a very key group that determines the political decisions of this country and other decisions as well. They should just come out in large numbers, contest. As you're saying, 50, I feel that's a very small number. They should be more.
In fact, I think three weeks ago it was said that nationally there are over 50,000 candidates for the position of MCA, Member of County Assembly.
Oh, I'm hoping most of them are youth and women. For my heart, I'm just hoping it's that, because I want to see that young. It means for future the old guard is going to be shaken. They'll feel that the youth really are coming. These people, we tell them there are so many, and yet they don't come out in large numbers. This time they're coming out in large numbers. So definitely let them participate wherever they can. Let them go even as independent candidates, as you have indicated, that you feel like, you're asking me if political parties have provided opportunities for them. I feel that they do not have to align themselves to political parties. They can come out as independent candidates, just through their communities, come out with very strong manifestos, be able to motivate others, be able to lead people in their communities. When the younger generation will see the effect that their fellow young person has on them, then they definitely vote them in. And also, actually not just vote them in, believe what they're saying and work together to effect all the changes they want to see in their areas.
Okay.
Yes.
Good. Now, there is a bit of getting into a leadership position.
Yes.
Whether through elections, nomination, appointment, maybe running your own organization, and so forth.
Yes.
Once that is realized, and I think that's now, with what we have seen now, this is now the question that we will be asking now. Once these youths are in position now, is there value addition? Because that is now the real thing. Is there value addition? Because even when you have seen young people get into parliament, into Senate, into appointed positions and so forth, sometimes there is a feeling that just like the female leaders, once they get there, then they still seem to be answering to a certain power.
Yes, the
and
old
when
guard.
that happens, then you don't see that value addition. You still see the lack of voices of reason in our leadership, where we are just divided down the middle, along party lines and so forth. Yet national issues affect everyone, whether you are in Embu, you are in Kilifi, or in Western. If the price of unga goes up, it affects everyone.
Yes, no matter their age, no
Yes.
matter their gender.
Yes.
Yes, I understand what you're trying to bring out. What I could really say is I believe there is value addition, because in a sense, the electorate is tired. So when they see new faces, and especially fresh young faces, they feel that, oh, so even our people are fighting for these seats. Let us try and get them in and see what they're going to effect for us. The president has managed to bring in cabinet secretaries who are pretty young. I wouldn't consider, some are youth, but others are pretty young, for considering the previous regimes where it was just people who are always old. I believe we have enough talent, and that is what he's trying to capture, to show that whatever you have done in school, whatever you believe that you can offer, bring yourself out here, and you'll be your talent or your skill will be exercised.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, finally, as we wind up the show, I would like to talk about this. This is an issue that is a problem year in, year out,
Yes.
where the youth are misused by the seasoned politicians. They're used as goons to attack others. Now in social media, because of the youth being so tech savvy, they are being used to spew out messages, that can only be considered as hate speech and so forth. How do we address that? Because this is going to be an issue.
Yes.
Yes.
It has always been an issue, and it's going to be an issue, unfortunately, because many youth feel disenfranchised. Many have fallen back to alcohol and substance abuse, unfortunately. When these leaders go back home to seek for votes, they give them few, I will call that 500 shillings, few shillings, because when you divide 500 times 352 days in a year, will that afford you even basic needs like unga to eat every day? I believe not. So it's a call for my fellow youth out there. Please ensure that you do not take these petty things that the politicians are handing out to you. They're just very petty. They're not amounting to anything. Make sure you participate actively by asking them to do what they promised to do in the 5 years they have voted in. Ask them questions. Where you said you will bring us hospitals, where are the hospitals? You said that the county needs this certain skill, this certain expertise. I am available. Are you going to employ me? How can I assist my government? Bring yourself out, help where you can. Exercise your right to vote by going out on election day to vote. Do not say that my problems are not being addressed, and yet you do not go and remove the people who do not address these problems. Get in the people you feel that they will address your problems. Always motivate your fellow people. Do not wallow in the problems that we have currently. Everybody has their own problems, and I believe if we come together and provide solutions, we can forge forward in a better way.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much. As you have heard, the campaign is Kura Yako.
Kura yangu, sauti yangu.
Kura yangu, sauti yangu.
Yes.
Very important, and
Yes.
youth, it's important you participate. In fact, there's an American president who said, bad leaders are voted in by good people who do not participate.
Yes.
Those who stay at home. In Kenya, the ones who analyze on Facebook and social media, and they're not going out to vote,
Yes.
they are not speaking out.
Yes.
They're the ones who will, in a way, bring back the bad leaders, in
Yes.
quotes, that we do not need
Exactly.
in this country. Thank you very much, Irene Muchomba.
Thank you.
We wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you. Viewers, we have come to the end of our show. As always, this is Young and Smart. Your host is Oliver Sindabi, and see you next week. Thank you very much.